What up? It's on the sick one to sobriety. My name is Rob and I'm an alcoholic and drug addict. Over the past month, a lot of shit has happened. A lot of shit has changed. And I'm definitely gonna get into all of these stories, and I'm definitely gonna talk about everything when the time is right. But right now, I just want to keep the story going from where I left off about a month ago, and that's getting to know exactly why I fell addict, why I was addicted to what I was addicted to, and which I had to come to terms with it. Even as embarrassing as I felt that it was, I had to admit it out loud in front of an audience, in front of people, and in rehab they teach us that we're admitting it in front of God. So what I had to come to terms with was that I was addicted to masturbation. I absolutely loved it. It was my favorite thing to do. I mean, who doesn't like doing that, right? Most of the people, I'm sure, like it. But to me, it was a point where I started tweaking, and it would my sexual arousal to do that was at an all-time high. It would peak, and I could go from freaking 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I was just there, and my shit would go numb and everything, and I would still keep going, like I wouldn't stop. But I fucking loved it because just having everything on my screen, just watching it right in front of me, would just keep the motors running. And it sucked because I would call off. It would be 6 in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning, and the sun will start coming up, and I'm like, fuck, and I'm not even done yet. And I'm like, I can't go to work like this. Like, I can't. I'm not going to work. Like, I would call off because I would rather stay home and finish my masturbation session. And it fucked over my jobs. It fucked over a few jobs. And because of my addiction to pornography and masturbation, it led me down the path of where I would start stealing to be able to start stealing or doing whatever tranzas that I have to do to make money to buy more tweaks so I could keep going, so I could keep masturbating. And it all came back around to just wanting to masturbate. That's all it really was. And that's all I looked forward to. I remember there was 2 places that I had Wi-Fi connection at because I didn't have no internet. The phone I had like a smartphone, but it wasn't connected to any line, so I had to use the Wi-Fi. And then I had an Obama phone, which was my regular stuff, doing stuff, right? So there was 2 places I could use Wi-Fi at. Back with the homie where I used to record my music with. For a while, I had his fucking Wi-Fi password. He had hooked me up. So sometimes I would just sit in the back of his building, or on the picnic bench that's close to his pad, and I would let him know. I would message him like, "Hey, fool, like I just want you to know I'm not trying to be weird or whatever, but I'm just sitting here using your Wi-Fi, I'm not trying to invite myself into your pad. Like I'm not do your thing, whatever. But I'm just letting you know I'm here, just in case people tell you that, hey, what's up with Robert? Why is he here? And then he'd be like, okay, yeah, whatever. You don't even gotta let me know, fool. But it felt better for me to let him know. And then down in the new houses, and in front of the homie Chiefy's pad, rest in peace, the homie Chiefy's. I used to be in front of his pad, and I felt a little weird because it would be like midnight, 1 in the morning, and I'd be right there at his pad. Even like if he wasn't home, like he'd be off to work or whatever, so I'd still be close to his pad using the Wi-Fi. And I would shoot him a message even though I knew he wasn't home, but I'd just be like, hey fool, like I'm like creeping next to your pad, dog. I'm using the Wi-Fi, and he always told me like, nah fool, it's cool, don't trip, like it's whatever. And what I would do at this time, I would be downloading porn videos. Or pictures. I would do a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, a lot of spank bank material that I would get, that I would save on my phone. I remember my homie, right, the one that I used to live with, the one from DJ, he got my phone. Like I don't know why I let him borrow my phone or whatever, and this was fucking nosy as fuck, so he just starts going through it. He starts going through all my spank bank material. And just in case you don't know what that is, it's just pictures that I save to look at for later when I get tired of watching pornography, when I get tired of that, I pull up these pictures and just to get the motors running some other way, And it was just a bunch of random pictures, but then, and then he tripped out because I had pictures of his cousin in there. Oh fuck! And he and he hit me up like, "Oh, so wait, you got pictures of my cousin in here?" I was like, "Yeah, fool. What can I say, dog?" He's like, "Fuck, you're scandalous as fuck." He's like, "Yeah, I got some of those pictures too." I was like, "Whoa, that's even more scandalous, dog." You know, that's a different topic. That's his story to tell. And so yeah, it was just little shit that like that I enjoyed doing, and it was a problem. And I realized once I got back to rehab for the second time, I realized that it wasn't just like because of tweaking that I wanted to do that. It was just because I really wanted to. It was just like a sober thing. Because I was in there. I remember being in that cuarto de Malia. I remember masturbating. I remember getting caught by the cook. He walked in, looked at me, we made eye contact, and he's just like, oh, and he closed the door, and I was downstairs, I was doing. And then when I got out, I don't know if I already mentioned this before, but in maybe like once or twice per meeting. So we have 5 meetings a day, 2 hours each meeting. Once or twice per meeting, I would go in the bathroom and masturbate. And it happened for a long time until me tuve que apadrinar, until I had to tell my sponsor, like, hey, look, this is what's happening, this is what I'm struggling with. Like, he's like, okay, cool. He's like, finally, you're fucking being honest. Doesn't matter how embarrassing it is, you're gonna be honest, and this is a big step forward. And to admit it to him really was like a big stress relief. And to talk about it on the podium was also a big stress relief. But the thing is, I was embarrassed of what my compañeros were gonna think of me. But at the end of the day, I was like, they're not doing the program for me. They're not the ones that are trying to save themselves. I'm the one trying to save myself. So he told me, he's like, look, first things first, you're gonna stop doing it. For the rest of your anexo, you're gonna stop doing it. No matter what. He's like, if you gotta put fucking chili on your hands, you're gonna stop doing it. And I was like, alright, I can do that. You're gonna write about it. You're gonna write every single sick, twisted thought that you have in your head, you're gonna write about it. I was like, alright, I can do that. And third of all, you're gonna talk about it so much in your meetings. When you get on the podium, you're gonna talk about it every single time. Every single twisted fantasy you have of banging your homie's cousin, of banging grandmas, of whatever you freaking the bitches in your mind as all maniacs and shit. You're gonna talk about it until you can't talk about it no more. And I was like, fuck. I guess I gotta do what I gotta do. So for the next maybe a month and a half, just every single time I went up there, I would just start going off. And what tripped me out is there was 2 girls doing the program with us, and I was just like, fuck. I was like, sorry. You know, in the back of my head, I was just like, sorry, you know, but I have to talk about it. And I would talk about it, and I just keep going, and like, they would make fun of me for it. They're like, wow, we already know all Robert's fucking crazy fantasies and all kinds of shit. But they were like, well, you know, we're doing the program, we're all fucking, you know, sick and twisted in there. And it helped. For the time being, it helped me stop doing what I was doing. It helped me stop actually masturbating during the program. And maybe for like about a year, maybe close to a year, like. And then plus it was hard to do it because, which was another motivation thing, that it was hard to do it because you're always around people. You never have any privacy, especially when you become a vecino. When you're sleeping in the other room, you're sleeping next to 3 dudes. Like, or 2 other dudes, right? And they're like 3 feet apart they're 3 feet away from you. Like, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, it was just, I just didn't want to do it at that time because, según yo, I was trying to live my good life. And then they're talking about how pornography fucking twists your mind and does all kinds of shit to you. But for the time being, that was what I had to come to terms with, was that I was addicted to masturbation. And being addicted to masturbation turned into a tweak habit. And because of that tweak habit, I became the person that I was, which was a thief, a liar, a scammer, all the bad things you could think of that I was. That's exactly what I became. And it sucked that I became a person that nobody could recognize anymore. My parents didn't recognize me anymore. I didn't recognize myself anymore. But when you come to terms with what's really bugging you deep inside of you, when you come to terms with being able to have the balls and actually talk about it, it really changes your perspective on shit, of what's really going on. Even though up to this day I still fight with that addiction,